the relaxed version of the perfecting the pitch.
Oh, yeah, of course.
No, I didn't worry about it. I'd like to bring Lee's ball back on a.
I don't even know if I need a microphone for a snake here.
Oh, we use it because we got the video.
Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be very formal. Oh, very informal. I was being sarcastic. Yeah, so we're actually not using our visual aid for this one because, as per usual, I don't know that we can get PowerPoint working.
Well, we can with just that Luke, the last time Luke's team had an issue with PowerPoint, and they wanted to make sure they had absolutely no reason for it to go wrong, so they just wanted to get set up so we're not gonna get in their way, and it's too important, for them, and it's too meaningless for us. But this is a small correction to the rule, which is usually when we're talking about perfecting the pitch, you're always going to talk about having a visual aid. And the reason is it helps put visual concrete to the passion and the emotion that the pitcher is delivering, right? So it's ironic that we would not have one in this case. But the idea is you have one so that when you're pulling on the heartstrings, there's a little bit of substance, capturing key points and keeping certain ideas prevalent. Right?
Yeah. And it also
I have to go to the bathroom. I'll talk to you.
in case somebody is not paying attention temporarily, something happens outside, they can look back, especially for numbers. I think that's huge for me. If I'm doing a spoken only pitch, I'll only include 2 or 3 numbers in it. With the slide where you can actually see how the numbers fit together for a few seconds, that's really helpful.
That's a good thing.
So, but I think the other thing we were talking about a little bit was storytelling, which I feel like is probably more Ian's thing than mine. But the idea that your pitch should hopefully be constructed to have kind of a beginning, middle, and end. Not just a little introduction, who I am, but kind of make people feel like everything flows logically and like they're hearing kind of the story of how your business idea came about and why it's going to be successful, rather than just, here are the 6 slides I've been required to present or been told would be good to present.
Yeah, and when storytelling, 2 of the most useful gimmicks in storytelling is number 1, bookending. So begin with your hook, with your lead, with your concept that's going to end up also being the moral of the story. Foreshadow it is the other thing. And so when you're using these 2 storytelling vehicles, the pitch kind of can take care of itself when you're writing it, when you're visualizing it, because as you tell the story, your concepts are interwoven, your concepts are becoming commonplace. And so all of a sudden the pitch feels almost familiar.
And then I would also say make sure, and since there are only a few people in here, I'll give you one of my tips that I always use when I present. Typically the last slide, instead of just putting up thank you or contact info, put up the 2 or 3 things that you think are the best sales pitch for what you're doing. So whether it's, hey, we've got a really quickly growing market, or hey, we've talked to a dozen customers and they all told us this, whatever you think is going to sell your business, put those 2-3 bullet points on there. And that way, when people are asking during the Q&A, they're also looking at, hey, not only did they want to thank me, but here are actually some good things about their business one more time. So it just reiterates, it's an old adage that, say everything 3 times because people often miss it the first couple of times. But that's a great way to bookend your pitch with, hey, here are the 2 or 3 reasons why you should pick us over other teams or over other concepts.
And the only thing I would add, because I think Elise is definitely the professional in this regard, getting teams ready to constantly be doing this. The only thing I would add in terms of having success in pitches is to go into it aware of the circumstances. And normally the circumstances are you don't know the majority of the baggage, the person that you're pitching, or the panel, or the company, or the board. That you don't know their baggage, you don't know their experiences, you don't know much about them, if anything, right? Except you want something, and they know that you want something, right, generally. So that being said, and that being the known unknown, realize that you have an advantage, which is to be passionate, to be magnetic, and to be somebody they want to be around again. And to be somebody that inspires them. If you inspire them and you bring life out of them, it's going to really speak to and sharpen your pitch, because they're going to see you. People invest in people, not ideas. People have ideas, but the investment is made in the person, not in the idea. Great ideas come all the time. It's people that end up being the executors of those ideas that actually earn the investment. In the case that you're in today, you're not actually asking for equity to be put or traded in this like Shark Tank. You're actually asking for more of a validation. You're asking for somebody to actually sign off and say, you're good, you're better than somebody else is doing the same set of expectations. The magnetism is still a big sell. Passion, believing in what you're doing, loving it. That sells, that goes a long way. That plays the emotional card. And the emotional card is, in this game, that's the trump card.
I would say with it being all about people, with people being critical, try to get all of your team members involved. Even if some people are not real comfortable with public speaking and they only want to say one sentence or cover one fraction of a slide, it's a lot nicer to see, hey, everybody on this team actually believes in this idea, as opposed to having a few people that just stand silent the entire time. Have them introduce themselves. Have them say why they pick the team. You have a short period of time, but have them talk for 10 seconds if they're not comfortable covering a whole slide or whatever. But try to get everybody involved in the pitch just to show that your whole team is passionate about the idea.
And practice it. Practice it. I know a lot of people, I was one of these people actually that used to have so much self-confidence that winging it, I was always like, oh, I got this, man, I'm so good at this. It doesn't matter, I can just go in there and I can just deliver, and my spontaneity is what sells, and my organicness and my new, I redefine myself every garbage. Practice it.
Especially if you have, when you're doing a group pitch, you have to practice it, or it gets very awkward very fast, or people say things that don't quite mesh. I know it's the most boring adage of all time, but practice actually does matter. And I've worked with a lot of people that say the same thing that Ian says. I can just walk in and wing it.
I kill.
I'm really good, and maybe 30% of those people are right. The other 70% are wrong, but don't realize it until we videotape them and play it back.
And even those that can wing it have a lot to learn and can still be better. I mean, practicing is the enemy. And an old football adage, practice doesn't make perfect, perfect practice makes perfect. That's it.
Yeah, do people have questions? Is there anything you guys are struggling with on your pitch?
Don't overwhelm your slides. Another thing I've gotten into trouble, my old friend Stu is a stalwart in my life. He's taught me some great things. One of the things he taught me was big font, few words and slides. I used to do a lot of words, small font. People got so confused and wrapped up and looking at what the hell I was doing with my slides. My pitch got completely sidetracked by everyone looking at my slides and looking at each other being like, this amateur, am I kidding? Don't go there. I went there. We'll go there. All right, guys. Well, we are getting down to the wire. I am going to ask our judges to leave because we do want to be fair to them so that when they see the winner of this round, they'll see them fresh. This right here, Rick, just to explain to you what happened. Everybody, Rick Stockberger, founder of Launch League. He's one of our judges. And Rick Angeletti's out there. He's not going to come in because I just told him he can't. But essentially what happened was we had 4 teams, 2 competed earlier, and the 2 that lost became like a lower bracket. They have time to work for the last 5 hours or so. And what they are now doing is those 2 teams are going to pitch in front of the 2 winning teams. The 2 winning teams are going to pitch which of them gets to come to the final level. Nice. And they all pitch before the judges. So there's a little bit of internal judging. So as to protect the one that's going to end up pitching twice in about 15 minutes, we don't want you to see them this first time around. Perfect. Thank you, bud.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna disconnect the microphones actually so that nobody hears anything. Just to make sure. Unless we want to use the mics and just keep this as that. That's fine.
At this point,
We're winging it. We're winging it, man. We're doing the 30% rule. All right, guys. Well, we're gonna take just a couple minutes and then we're gonna get heartbeat and maybe up here to do these. I don't know in what order. We'll flip a coin. Let's just leave them and let them make the choices. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. What time is it? What?
That was when we first went to was it 4 in the morning?
All right, I have our other judge coming. Very good. We're in great shape.